Well, Governor Snyder delivered his fourth annual State of the State address in Lansing tonight.
He laid out what lawmakers accomplished last year and what's on the agenda for 2014. 7 4's Jamie Ennis joins us live in the studio with the latest details on the governor's speech. Jamie, what were really the hot topics tonight?
Mark, Governor Snyder touched on a lot of different topics. He talked about the state's growing job force and spoke about the need to better protect our students. Overall, Snyder says the state has come a long way in a short amount of time.
We're getting that job done. We are reinventing Michigan. Michigan is the comeback state.
Governor Rick Snyder covered many topics in his State of the State address, from jobs and environment to public safety and education.
I firmly believe in investing in K-12 education. And I'm proud to say, in the last 3 years, we've increased educational spending at the state level for K-12 each and every year to the point where we've invested $660 more per student than there was previously before I took office. That's a huge investment in K-12 education.
Critics question where that money went, saying it wasn't seen in per-pupil allotments. Snyder clarified that about half of that money, or nearly $1 billion, was invested in employee pension plans, so schools can put their own funds into classrooms.
We did not achieve comprehensive transportation reform. We do need to invest more in our roads, and I think we're seeing that. We've entered pothole season now, folks.
Snyder didn't delve further into how transportation reform will be accomplished, but mentioned the $250 million legislators found in the general fund being allocated to state transportation projects, more than $10 million of which will go to northern Michigan projects. The governor waited until the last minute to address the state's budget surplus.
We have a surplus this year. I bet you've heard that.
He says rather than spending all of it or issuing tax cuts for everything, we should act like a family sitting around the kitchen table.
It's about being a family and being smart. So let's be smart about how we handle this situation.
After the speech, the Democratic Party was given a moment to respond to the governor's remarks. Democratic House Leader Tim Grimal says the Republican plan isn't working, and what Governor Snyder laid out is just more of the same.
But we don't need more of the same. We don't need more financially struggling schools that can't afford to stay open. We don't want to see seniors continuing to struggle to make mortgage payments, struggle to heat their homes, and struggle to afford groceries because Republicans raise their taxes.
Grimal says we need a state that prioritizes better schools so that students can compete for the best jobs of tomorrow. He laid out the Democratic plan that would create economic security and make it easier for small businesses to grow within the state. He also called for raising minimum wage. We caught up with Governor Snyder's competition for re-election in November, Mark Schauer. He says he's disappointed with Snyder and that he didn't get a whole lot out of the speech.
He spent more time talking about the Asian longhorn beetle than he did about public education. I just didn't hear any ideas that would give me faith that we can move from having the third worst unemployment rate in the country, which is where we are under Governor Rick Snyder's policies.
Schauer said he thinks Snyder is disconnected with what both families and communities are really facing. Reporting live in the studio, Jamie Ennis, 7 4 News.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. Reaction of the governor's speech was split down party lines.
7 4's Nathan Edwards caught up with some of our lawmakers from northern Michigan to see how they felt about tonight's address.
Mark and Kristen, right after the governor's speech, I had a chance to catch up with some of our local politicians to see what they thought about some of the topics brought up tonight.
We're on the right track, and we're actually turning Michigan around and coming back. And I think that message needs to be told. We're doing the right things. We had to make some tough decisions, had to make some tough votes and some tough calls, but we're starting to see the benefit of that, and I'm very excited about it.
I just didn't hear anything there talking about bringing jobs to northern Michigan, restoring the billions of dollars that have been taken out of our communities from northern Michigan, our counties and our municipalities. I heard nothing about restoring education funding from our cities.
The enthusiasm, the state that Michigan is in right now, the economic advancements that we've been making are tremendous. We're putting hardworking families back to work. We're putting money back into education. We're protecting the environment. Michigan is back on track.
Many of the politicians I spoke with after tonight's address were very optimistic about the governor's plan, but they did admit it's up to the legislature now to make many of the governor's goals come true. Reporting in the state capitol, Nathan Edwards, 7 4 News.